I bet you didn't know MrBeast, YouTube's biggest star, is tangled in a serious legal mess. Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, is facing a major lawsuit. 5 female contestants from his upcoming Prime Video show, Beast Games, are taking legal action against his production company and Amazon. The lawsuit alleges a culture of misogyny and sexism on set, claiming contestants were underfed, overtired, and denied medication. Some even reported hospitalizations. This isn't the first controversy for MrBeast this year. In July, his former co-host was accused of grooming, and there were allegations from a former employee about questionable business practices. Despite the controversies, MrBeast's popularity has continued to soar. He boasts the largest YouTube channel and recently announced a new food line with KSI and Logan Paul. The big question now, will these allegations impact his empire? Experts suggest transparency and accountability are key to maintaining his brand. Stay tuned as this story unfolds. MrBeast's next move could shape his legacy on the internet.
Hurricane Helene tore through the southeastern United States. The storm brought strong winds and heavy rains. Coastal communities faced the brunt of Helene's fury. The storm surge caused widespread flooding. Homes were reduced to rubble. Businesses were destroyed. The storm's impact was felt far inland. Rivers overflowed their banks. Roads became impassable. The infrastructure of entire regions was crippled. Helene left a trail of devastation in its wake. The historic village of Biltmore, North Carolina, was submerged. The once vibrant community was now a scene of utter destruction. In Peachtree Creek, residents navigated flooded streets in boats. Their homes were underwater. The storm's power was evident in the debris scattered across the landscape. Uprooted trees, downed power lines, and shattered windows were common sights. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and the stench of decay. The storm claimed the lives of over 50 people. The death toll was a stark reminder of the human cost of such natural disasters. Families were torn apart. Communities were left reeling from the loss. The survivors faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. The physical and emotional scars of Helene would linger long after the floodwaters receded. The economic impact of Helene was significant. The storm caused billions of dollars in damage. Businesses were forced to close. Tourism, a vital industry in the region, came to a standstill. The road to recovery would be long and arduous. The storm served as a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of preparedness. In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, stories of loss and resilience emerged from the wreckage. Sarah Williams, a single mother of 2, watched in horror as floodwaters engulfed her home. She and her children escaped with only the clothes on their backs. "I lost everything," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "But I'm alive, and my children are safe. That's all that matters." John Davis, a retired firefighter, spent days helping his neighbors evacuate their flooded homes. "I've seen my share of disasters," he said, "but nothing like this. The water was just relentless." Despite his own losses, Davis remained optimistic. "We'll rebuild," he said, "we always do." Community spirit shone through in the darkest of times. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers offered food, water, and shelter to those in need. Volunteers from across the country poured into the affected areas, eager to lend a hand. The outpouring of support provided a glimmer of hope amidst the devastation. Scientists have long warned that climate change is increasing the intensity and frequency of extreme weather events like Hurricane Helene. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more energy for hurricanes, making them stronger and more destructive. Rising sea levels exacerbate storm surge, leading to more coastal flooding. The link between climate change and extreme weather is undeniable. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the leading international body for the assessment of climate change, has concluded that it is extremely likely that human influence has been the dominant cause of the observed warming since the mid-20th century. The IPCC's findings are based on the work of thousands of scientists from around the world. The evidence is clear. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity, and it is already having a devastating impact on our planet. Hurricane Helene is a stark reminder of the consequences of our inaction. We can no longer afford to ignore the warnings of scientists. We must act now to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the effects of climate change. Section 4. A nation responds mobilizing aid and support. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, the federal government mobilized a massive relief effort. President Biden declared states of emergency in the affected areas, freeing up federal funds and resources. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, deployed teams to assist with search and rescue, provide shelter and supplies, and assess the damage. The American Red Cross, Salvation Army, and other relief organizations mobilized volunteers and resources to provide food, water, and shelter to those in need. Donations poured in from across the country and around the world. The spirit of compassion and generosity was evident in the outpouring of support for the victims of Hurricane Helene. The road to recovery would be long and challenging, but the nation was united in its commitment to helping those affected by the storm. The government, relief organizations, and ordinary citizens worked tirelessly to provide aid and support to those who had lost so much. Section 5. Rebuilding and Resilience. A call for action. As the floodwaters receded and the cleanup began, the task of rebuilding seemed overwhelming. But amidst the devastation, there was also a spirit of resilience. People were determined to rebuild their lives and their communities. The recovery process would require a long-term commitment from government, businesses, and individuals. It was an opportunity to rebuild smarter and stronger, with a focus on sustainability and resilience. Building codes needed to be updated to withstand future storms. Infrastructure needed to be strengthened, and communities needed to be prepared for the impacts of climate change. Hurricane Helene was a wake-up call. It was a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of protecting our planet. It was also a reminder of the strength of the human spirit and our capacity for compassion and resilience. In the face of adversity, we came together as a nation to support those in need. Let us carry that spirit forward as we work to build a more sustainable and resilient future for all.